Does anyone else just really like hobbits? Well, we just recently had an open tournament run by Turin for the Age of the Ring. Anyone invited to play? We did 5 rounds, single faction tournament. And my Rivendell at one point ran into Pool's Misty Mountains, and I got proper thrashed. But Pool slid into my DMs afterward and said, hey, here's actually how you beat me in that matchup. And he dropped me a replay. So we're going to take a look at that. We've got it, ladies and gentlemen. We've got the full blueprint of how to defeat Pool's Misty Mountains. And I assume it will be an easy step-by-step guide to follow. So whenever you run into Pool in the future and you know he's going to send some goblins at you, you just refer back to this easy-to-follow guide and you'll assuredly find victory. All right, let's walk through this, see what we've got here. Step 1. Be conqui. Okay. Well, we're not off to a great start in terms of replicability here, but I suppose we'll cast the game and see what other insight we might be able to glean from this. Step 2, 4 orchards. We've got 4 mine shafts up for Pool's Misty Mountains. So this is Pool on purple in the Misty Mountains top right corner, Conqui on red with Rivendell in the bottom left. We've got lots of wargs out and about all over the place. I think just wargs. There's no trolls hiding around this map. We got signal fires in the corner. There are also sort of mid-range inns. Everything guarded by a warg. Conqui's opening with a Dunedain gathering. A little unusual, a little atypical perhaps. Often you see a Breland encampment first, but a fast follow with the Breland encampment. We've already got 2 Moria orc caves. And I'm going to call them goblins because let's be real here. They might say Moria orc screechers, but they're goblins. Trust me on that. 1 cave, 2 cave, 3 caves up. We might see some goblins this game, folks. I'm suspecting there might be some. We've got a goblin builder running out. Catches a couple bites from the wargs. But we also have Dunedain Outriders as basically a first unit. I think the Bounders are going to beat them out. Dunedain Outriders will be out shortly. And as we all know, the Goblin Caves don't have a spear unit with them. You got your Orc Screechers, your Moria Orc Archers, but nothing with a pike in there. And what do Outriders do against a little herd of goblins? And they ride them down like grass. Easy peasy. Okay. Outriders. Step 2, Bounders. First Bounders, second Bounders are on the field. Beelining straight for the Misty Mountains base, and we are up to 4 Moria Orc caves and starting a Moria Orc Lodge. Get some of the mountain orcs out. You need the Orc Lodge because it's your access to early pikes. We've also got the Dunedain Outriders coming, but we've got a sneaky southern mine shaft that has expelled a horde of goblins, and they're about to tear apart some orchards. Up in the base, we've got Bounders looking for trouble. More orcs jump out of the mines to catch those Bounders. Some other Bounders fall back after not finding a good target, and the Outriders come back to base. Another squad of Outriders up. Now the danger here is there's so many of the Moria orcs on top of one another that your cavalry gets slowed down as you trample into them. If you try to head straight into center mass with your cavalry, you get slowed down. The deceleration of running into too many bodies makes you really slow, and then you're surrounded by 100 goblins, and they pop their poisoned blades, doing extra damage over time, and the goblins actually pull down your cavalry, the cavalry that are meant to be a very hard counter. Oh, and if there's actually Moria Orc brutes in there, it's much worse. Okay, so here's the problem. 100 goblins with a couple of orcs with spears. What are we going to do about that? More Bounders. Bounders up top, Bounders in the middle. We got some pikemen running down south. The Outriders are headed towards the base. And 1 squad of Bounders to defend the homeland. We'll see how they can do here. Ooh, wouldn't want to be in that Bounder squad. But still about 1 billion orcs here. Outriders go in, but again, you're seeing what I'm talking about, the casualties. You know, We're losing outriders every time we trample some of these goblins down. We lose an orchard in the back. Those bounders get taken to Pound Town. Down south, the Breland Townsguard are actually able to pull down a mine, and the few surviving outriders come in to help them with the goblins that popped out. We've got some rangers on the field. That's what I'm talking about. Rangers are amazing here. Able to finally sort of provide the ranged firepower needed. Around the back, a couple of bounders get in to tear down a mine back there, but we've also got another horde of orcs up top pulling down yet more orchards, and there is just stuff going on everywhere. Another fresh squad of outriders come out, able to tear up some of the goblins that are running around without orc brute support. Bounders and Rangers headed up north. We got Bounders in the middle attacking mines. We got Breland Townsguard on the east. We got more Bounders in the top right corner. We got a massive horde of goblins up top. I'm just going to use Goblin and Orc interchangeably. You know what I mean. Don't at me. Okay, so the Goblin hordes are being kept somewhat in check. Ooh, that was not a good one. Some sort of trampling going down, although we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like up 6. Oh, a lot of horses go down there. And you got to remember, one squad of outriders for the Dunedain, 487, basically 500, basically worth 5 squads of orc screechers. So any horses you pull down with orcs is a fantastic value proposition. It also takes a lot longer to make the outriders, I believe. Bounders up north. We've got many gatherings dropped in the middle of Moria's base. They're going to try and pick up this level 2 orc tunnel, it looks like here. More bounders on the east, more bounders on the east. Maybe the hobbits were the real goblins all along. Up top, also bounders and archers, but this top force is getting a little overwhelmed, but not before they manage to pull down that mine. We're at 600 command points for Rivendell, 450 for Misty Mountains. The bounders have been relentless. Okay. I don't know what step we're on. Step 2, step 3. One of the steps, just make shitloads of hobbit bounders and send them everywhere. Laketown Watchmen up here. This is from the many meetings. They're about to time out, but there are still some bounders up here. Level 2, so they'll replenish if they survive, and they're hiding back in the woods. More bounders down south, chasing workers, and there are a lot of orcs in the field. And not only that, but we've got the They Are Coming, spawning the Cave Troll Destroyer and another horde of Misty Mountain orcish goblins down south. In the middle, a lot of trampling going down. We've seen a lot of outrider casualties. So, another key in this matchup, making lots and lots of outriders, because there's going to be more attrition than you'd like. This is going to be a tough to stop, though. What are you going to do about this troll down here? We haven't really seen any pikes on the field. Okay, there's a little bit. There's a Breland Townsguard. One Townsguard's got his job cut out for him here. Rangers coming in to provide some support. Bounders here. Still bounders back in the enemy base, chopping up a mine yet again. More bounders working on the orc stronghold. More bounders over here beating down mines. Okay, so step 4, micro about 6 different assault groups at the same time. The troll does get pulled down by the town's guard, left to die by the goblins. I think if they had been paying a little more attention to guarding their troll homie, he'd still be alive, but no such luck. Goblins up north pulling down more Rivendell orchards. You can see there's basically no orchards left in Rivendell's main base. I guess they've got 2 left, 1.5. But he's been spreading them out further onto the map so that they're just harder to track down from the orcish hordes that they come in. More bounders on the front line. Bounders trade pretty well into Moria orc screechers. But the bounders aren't even taking fights, really. So this is, step 5. Don't necessarily just send your bounders into melee with the orcs. Where they're running around the outside, picking at the mines here and there. So we're just bounders chasing guys here. There's a lone goblin back here stabbing stuff. Not a hero on the field to be seen. A big mass of outriders coming up the middle, though. More bounders down south hunting mines. Likewise up north, Breland Town's Guard being covered by Overwatch from some rangers of the north, cleaning up that mine. And yeah, we're once again playing with team house colors on. I've seen a number of folks ask me to turn off house colors sometimes in the comments, but I find it really useful to be able to see the colors, so that's what we're going to do. So I'm sorry if that's disruptive to you. Outriders get a nice trample, but also some orcs get on top of them and pick up a bunch of horses on the way out. A bit of a front push here, but Moria orcs are trading just fine. However, what they're doing is they're buying a lot of time, because we've got bounders down south, cleaned up a mine here. There's a ruins here they could clean up. There's more bounders over here cleaning up mines. There's some pikemen here, and then there's still sort of the general scrum in the middle as northern mines get cleaned up. 725 command points for Rivendell. They've opted for 2 level 10 powers and they have 15 points in the bank. We've got the Witterworm, so that's the 15 and 1 level 10 power, so I think Rivendell might be up by about 10 points or so. 10 points of ring power. Makes sense because Misty Mountains are down to just 300 command points right now. The Bounders have done an incredible amount of work just hunting down orc tunnels all across the map. They're being chased by a troll. We got regular cave trolls starting to come out now. Cave trolls holding trees are an absolute menace, but as long as the Bounders play Ring Around the Rosie, the troll can't catch them. Trolls running around the base, and it's starting to look pretty bad for Misty Mountains. 300 command points. He's pop capped at the moment as a new horde of goblins come out. And the Hall of Fire drops. The strangers from distant lands, the many meetings comes in, and all of a sudden we've got quite a staunch force of hobbits, men of the west, and well, not men of the west, I guess technically the Dunedain are kind of their own thing. They're still sort of men in the west. I don't know, but we've got a wereworm up as well. So what happens when there's a wereworm? Well, you really don't want it to breathe fire on you, so you run away. So the wereworm chases you. And once again, you'd really like not to have fire breathed on you, so you run away. Defeat wereworms with this one weird trick. This one pops down here. It's going to breathe a little bit of fire on the Hall of Fire. Maybe it's having a really difficult time connecting with all of the tricksy hobbits around it. But there's so many orcs and goblins now, they're starting to pull them down. We did lose the orc tower. It's still got some ruins up. Will they be able to clear the ruins? Yep, looks like the Bounders are on it. Those dreadful Bounders. Up north, a big force of orcs manages to clear out the raiders, but there is a whole crap load of outriders in the base and no orcs left to make pikes to deal with them. So the outriders can pretty much trample about anything they find. Still a cave troll destroyer out here. They are coming popped again for some extra reinforcements, but there's Bounders here. Even in the middle of the base, there's still a couple of squads of Bounders cleaning up buildings. Bounders everywhere. Okay, so steps 1, 2, and 3 seem to be Bounders. Step 4, Outriders, who clear up a mine up top, but don't finish the ruins. I think maybe, is there a hero on the field? I thought I saw somebody over here. Yes. Halbarad's on the field at level 2, and now Aragorn, okay. Conquist's finally got enough space that he could invest in the luxuries. Is Halbarad going to survive this troll, though? He's getting chased down. I think he will. He's got a lot of support here. Halbarad lives. Aragorn's on the field as well. Aragorn, quite a beat stick. And only gets better over time. Has his own self-heal. Can swap to bows. Is a chieftain of the Dunedain. And there it is. Alright. Easy peasy, folks. That's how you beat Misty Mountains Pool. You micro 18 Bounders around the map at the same time. Crazy game to watch. That was nuts. I got another one for you, though, because we never do just one game. You always get at least 2. So here's another one from the tournament the other night. This was Rude Devil on Erebor in white versus Redwall on the Mordor in, appropriately, red. Now, Rude Devil, if you're not familiar with him, is a content creator, runs a YouTube channel, makes tons of videos about Battle for Middle-earth, Age of the Ring stuff. Usually he does a lot of 3v3s, a lot of fun. He's a beautiful boy. Go check him out. We'll drop a link in the doobly-doo down below. Straight off the bat into the Gorgoroth Foundry. I think that's a little atypical. I think because those cost more than slave farms. So you're putting a premium of your early game tempo on getting your foundry up and letting it sort of level up early on. Bold move, bold strategy, Cotton. We'll see how it goes. Rude down here, opting for 3 mines into the Hall of Warriors. Rude likes his forward bases, his forward pressure. We'll see how it goes against Moria. 1 Orcish stronghold, 2 Orcish stronghold. Do I hear 3? I suspect we might get 3 sooner or later. Dwarvish builder running to the east. Dwarves always love to expand that mining network. Of course, Dwarvish units can pop out of their barracks, load into the nearby Dwarven mine, and then unload from any other Dwarven mine on the map. Boom, you see him right there. He opts for a tier 1 spear unit, pops out of the mine, save that Dwarven stamina for the fighting, and gets right on top of the Warglare. Being able to chop up the neutral creeps gives them a little bit of XP. I think it does a little bit of ring power, maybe not. I can't quite tell. Maybe a little bit, yeah. You get a little bit of ring power from smashing up buildings, and then the creep layers drop treasure chests, which is extra money. And if you do it right, you don't really lose that many guys doing it. You still got some spears that are now level 2, ready to go. But first horde of orcs on the field. Looks like 3 squads, and indeed we are up to 3 Orcish strongholds. 400 command points for Mordor, and 450 for Erebor. Dwarvish hit squad coming in the south. Spears and you know, axes, swords. At the same time, the Orcish hordes are pushing in down the middle. I think he had... No, he did. Tunnel Collapse was not purchased. Alright, Orcs clear up 1 tunnel. Dwarves clear up 1 slave mill. We've got a mass of Orcish archers to work with here as well. Orcish warriors just get slaughtered by the dozens against Dwarven infantry, as you might expect. But the archers at least will allow you to sort of pick them off, plink them down over time. But then again, that's not too bad, since your standard Orcish warrior costs you 80 gold, and your standard Dwarf warrior costs about 300, so no shame in losing about 4 to 1 on your Orcs versus Dwarves. Orcs pick up a second Dwarvish mine on their assault, and they're going looking for more trouble. The Dwarves back home get cleaned up. 450 command points for the Dwarves, 450 for the Orcs. We do have the Trackers of Cirith Ungol, which are, for the Orcs, for Mordor, are a summons that summons a couple Orcs that debuff enemy damage and armor around them. And then our Dwarves have the Ravens of Erebor, which give a movement speed, attack and ability recharge speed to friendly units around them, but also really importantly give a friendly structure production speed. So you often see them used right above your barracks, your production buildings. And we've got a barracks teched up to 2, our Erebor Hall of Warriors, so we could have the Grimhammerers start to come out. Indeed, we've got some on the field already. Grimhammerers are anti-spam units. They do a bit of an AoE damage so they can cut through these orc hordes. But we've got a fast Nazgul out on the field, but feels like a fast one to me. And as long as he's careful and doesn't run into spears, Nazgul is excellent. A lot of powerful and he's done pretty good. A little bit of spearage there. Never mind, he's dead. Never mind. He should have quit while he was ahead. He had 2 or 3 really good tramples right off the rip, and then walked into some spears at the end there. That is unfortunate, because Nazgul are not cheap. I think it's like 1,400 gold to pick up. You certainly don't want to throw them away. Nazgul, sort of a high risk, high reward unit for Mordor. They're basically their only access to cavalry in the game, and you know it's a single entity, so cavalry feels plural to me. What's the singular form of cavalry? A cav, a horse, a guy on a horse. Anyway, their only access to cavalry in the early game are the Nazgul, but Nazgul very fast, very powerful damage tramplers, but relatively squishy, as it were, and can die super quickly if you blunder them into spears, as we saw there. Up north, we've got another war glare being cleaned up outside of a signifier. Down south, dwarves pushing in. Looks like 2 units of Grim Hammerers, though they are getting focused down nicely by the archers in the back. Dwarvish Horn of Erebor goes down, 25% damage and armor, and that's gonna make them quite a tough nut to crack for this orcish force. I feel like the orcs' days are numbered here. And we've got more ravens above them too. The ravens of Erebor have come to the field to help. A number of archers in the back line. A little more Grim Hammers as well, and the orcs are routed. They did okay there. I thought they traded they took maybe 1 or 2 squads of dwarves down, but get pushed back. However, we've got the dwarves ascendant on all fronts, pushing in the middle, and Gloin level 1 is on the field finally. Someone else came out. Shagrat is here. He must have been in that melee down there because he's a little bit beaten up. Shagrat is sort of an orc. He buffs your orc archers, and at level 5 he buffs your black uruks, and he can summon black uruks as well. Oh, we got some forward infrastructure going in, or at least a heroic statue for Erebor. Buffs damage, armor, experience, immunity to fear and terror, reduces the cost of your infantry. Orcs, or not orcs, but Erebor pushing forward. Glowing in here, gloriously harvesting orc lumberers. And the orc force is coming to push to fight the dwarfs, but I feel like they don't really have... Okay, so black uruks are on the field. Black uruks are leveled up, are sort of tier 2 infantry. Cost 400 for Mordor. We'll be able to trade a lot better into dwarfs, but they're not a hard counter by any means. All right, we've got a general scrum in the middle, Gloin and the orcs backed up by a bunch of archers, versus a mass of orcish warriors. A couple of black uruks coming out. A Nazgul back on the field. What can he do? Straight into the archers. Of course, you love to see it. That's the purpose. He can also do quite well with the Grim Hammers. There are spears in here. Don't run into the spears. He ran into the spears a little bit, but otherwise did a better job this time. Gloin's getting focused down by archers, but orcish archers just don't have the penetrating power to deal with a dwarf of Gloin's stature. However, they do manage to basically rout off the dwarven forces here. Down to 192 of 850 command points for the dwarves, 218 of 500 for Mordor. Mordor sitting on 13 points. Dwarves have picked up Send in the Goats. 13 points looks like it's going to be calling all evil to him. Gathering all evil to him as we summon some Horondor raiders, also unlocking golden cataphracts and axemen. We'll see if we get any of those later. Those are fun. We always love some Easterlings. Indeed, we do have an Easterling garrison going up right now. We've got a troll there on the field as well, and a drummer troll out. So text straight up to the drummer trolls. The raiders catch a builder. Are they going to actually punish them? Looks like they do. Yep. Dwarvish builder down. Oh, well, we've got a dwarven chariot on the field, and there is not an orc pike in sight. Out come the goats as well down the middle of the force. The Nazgul can chase the chariot as long as he doesn't stray into the pikes here. Nazgul does okay damage, and there's not really anything the chariot can do to him. However, the chariot is doing an awful lot to just about every other orc on the field. Overcomes the drummer troll, but too little too late. Drummer trolls are a fantastic force multiplier. They'd have their drums of war, 33% damage, armor, and bonus XP for all allied units around them. So they're really an incredible leadership unit. Can we stop this dwarven chariot, which is nearly dead? Can we stop it from trampling down everything the orcs know and love? Yes, we've got some pikes in the force now. Got some black uruks, more Black Uruks, and some pikes, some archers, some trolls. Okay, a pretty staunch line of spears here for Mordor. Sitting on 7 points. He's spent 10 already. Dwarves have spent 15 and are sitting on 4. So certainly point lead for the dwarves. We've got a dwarven tower up with some archers in it and mithril tipped arrows picked up. That's interesting. Don't see a ton of that. Nazgul up north. There was a dwarven battering ram on the field as well. Looks like the Nazgul maybe caught it in time before it caused too much havoc. It's cleaning them up north. We've got a regular mountain troll. They're trying to catch this Nazgul. He manages to clean up. Nazgul, run! Nazgul! Gets a little screech as he flees, which is a good one too, actually. It fears a lot of the dwarves straight into the Orcish army. Keep running! Keep running! He's so low. Get that Nazgul the hell out of there. Alright, dwarves buff with the horn, but we have a pretty buff Mordor force here, and the dwarves are well out of position, I think. Gloin up here, and Hadhod also. Levels 2 and 1. 3 now for Gloin. Unlocks the Barak Karzud. Nice buff for dwarves, but unfortunately they're just about the only dwarves left on the field at the moment. The forces of Mordor overrunning the dwarven assault. Looks like that mine's going to be cleaned up. Our Nazgul does live at level 3. We've also still got Shagrat here's in the middle. He's got the Pillagers of Cirith Ungol on autocast. Spawns a temporary horde of Black Uruks. Mountain Trolls running around. Mountain Trolls should do just fine against the Sulkabekas here, the Grim Hammers. But we've also got a lot of archers on the field that can deal with them. Gloin stands alone in the middle as the forces of Mordor are cleaning up some of this forward infrastructure. This just gets deleted by the dwarves. Some pikes trading with Gloin down here, and a lot of the dwarvish forward base in the north at least is cleared up. At the same time, we do have a bit of a push. Dwarves have shifted to a southern front, cleaning up some slave mills down there. 300 of 1,000 for the dwarves, 600 of 650 for Moria. So we got a larger Moria force on the field. Oh ho ho ho! We got Big Daddy Khan Cataphracts on the field. We talked about how Moria doesn't really have any cavalry. Well, unless they don't unless they do. If you pop the He is Gathering All Evil to him, and you upgrade your Easterling garrison all the way to level 3, you can now get Khan Cataphracts, which are elite cavalry. Really, really good guys. And at 650, honestly, they're a steal for their capabilities. Golden Cataphract, Khan's Cataphracts, really powerful. Moria pushes down the mid, clears up another barracks of the dwarves here. The dwarves are making a fight for it. They've used the Vow of Vengeance. Reduces enemy armor in a radius, prevents experience gain, and is a long duration. But Gloin's a bit exposed here. And the Harandir Raiders come out. I think Gloin's days are numbered. Indeed, level 6 Gloin goes down. Gimli is on the field. We've got a few dwarves in the base causing trouble, but there are also some cataphracts riding around pulling down dwarf mines. Shelob is called to punish the last dwarven heroes. Hadhod goes down. Will he pick up Gimli? Definitely worth it if he gets Gimli. Hadhod, looks like Shelob. Get on Gimli. No, it hurts to see a perfect opportunity to pick up Gimli. Gimli's fairly pricey, and Shelob could absolutely cause him some pain. Still has the Fell Stinger. Fell Stinger is an amazing ability. Strong damage to her hero. Regains a portion of her own health. Not on cooldown yet. Bold to send Gimli back in. If he catches a stinger, he's in big trouble here. But I feel like Shelob was dropped and is not getting a lot of attention paid. We got Orc raiding forces down, not Orc, Cataphract raiding forces down south, being chased by some Lake Town spearmen. Shelob just trampling, fighting dwarves, but again it looks like we've got King Brand on the field. And Gimli is able to escape. Shouldn't have been. Shelob should have been able to clean up Gimli for sure there. Always. Shelobs can trample and just sort of do all kinds of general mayhem, but honestly, she's kind of best as a hero killer because she's super fast. Nobody escapes from her. Her stinger is incredible single target damage. Ooh, was that a mine collapse? How did like eight cataphracts just die there for no reason? It was wild. Maybe a little mismatch or something. Getting some Khan's archers on the field as well. Barbed arrows upgraded for them. Jagged steel armor coming out. We're seeing the early Gorgoroth foundry paying dividends. Cruel blades purchased. Jagged steel armor purchased. Banners being picked up now. We've also got the cruel barbed arrows picked up from the Easterling garrison. Easterling archers at how much? 550? No, that's the phalanx. Archers are 650. They're basically elite archers. They're one of the best archers in the game, I think. Especially once you put the barbed arrows on them. They just spit crazy fire, and they're going to be a big problem for this force. A lot of barding spearmen coming out now. I'm not sure of the finer details of between a barding spearman versus just the dwarven spearman. Barding spearmen are 325, so they're still kind of like a tier 1, 1.5 kind of thing. A lot of cavalry raiding. We got a level 4 on this Khan's cataphracts. That gives them a serrated armor to reflect damage back against anything that hits them. Oop. They find themselves a builder, but they opt to keep running to safety. Getting chased down by some Sulka Bekes and some Sigyn Udrig Dwarven spears and Dwarven grimhammers. Big battle in the middle now. Looks like the force of Khan's archers and Black Ulrichs is running straight into the men of Lake Town and some dwarvish heroes. We've got a Dwarven builder out here just as well. So we've got King Brand out here dropping bombs. We've got the Black Arrow of Dale. But a nice trample comes in the back from the cataphracts, and they jump right on top of King Brand. And honestly, I think the cataphracts win that. Yep, Brand's in big trouble. Is that a Gloin in the front? Brand is dead to the cataphracts. Level 7 Gloin on the field. He manages to get to safety. And pretty heavy casualties on both sides here. I didn't see any more of the Mordor heroes though. Shagrat's still banging in here. I don't see our Nazgul. I assume he met his grisly fate at the end of some spears once again. Erebor well going up. Dwarves trying once again to put up some forward infrastructure. Gloin has made his way to level 8. Very impressive. Level 7 Hadhad. One of the shortest of the dwarves, but been getting lots of work done in here. Oh, and Gimli is here as well. Level 3 unlocks his Nobody Tosses a Dwarf. Does a savage AoE damage. And though the cataphracts are monstrous foes, especially when I believe they're upgraded, you know, they've got their upgrades purchased. It is tough to go to fisticuffs with the Dwarven heroes. 3 of the Dwarven heroes pretty well leveled now at this point. Some dwarvish backup comes on the back of some Barak Sharahul. Those are the higher tier dwarfs. Where are they coming out of? There we are. Iron Hills Warriors. Strong versus pikemen and cavalry able to switch for defensive. Don't see a ton of those guys. Sundering strikes, they reduce enemies' armor. They can go into shield walls. Just some tough elite dwarvish infantry. Though there's a lot of orcs on the field here, and the drummer troll makes them all quite a bit more capable. Looks like a fair bit of Khan spears. In the back, we've got some Easterlings, so we're seeing a strong transition into Easterlings for real now. Easterling archers very good. Ooh, that's no good though. The Moria pillar pops in the back. The veterans of Moria are very tough dwarvish infantry. Ooh, and look at all those Easterling corpses. There's a Screech. There was a Nazgul here somewhere. Oh, it's a foot Nazgul. Maybe he's been hanging around on foot and we just haven't noticed him. Dwarvish veterans pushing forward. The Moria routed, actually. Only 150 command points on the field for them. They lost some very expensive Easterlings in that last engagement, and the veterans are pulling down the troll cage. King Brand is back on the field at level 2, a bit out of position, perhaps. All right, he's rejoining his force. The veterans of Moria are going to time out pretty soon, although they might get an orc stronghold for their trouble. I think they might. That's tough. Veterans of Moria is super strong ability. Moria Reclaimed is what it is. Summons the Dwarven Pillar surrounded by 3 battalions of the Khazad-dûm veterans. I mean, there's a good reason why you run from it and just let them time out, because they're monsters to fight. Easterlings back on the field with some arrows, although the front line of Black Uruks takes some brutal losses there to I think it was Bard's Black Arrow. It does a big chunk of splash damage. Dwarves pushing in. We've got the Cataphracts raiding on the Dwarven lands. Some more Dwarven veterans in the backfield. And Moria's looking in trouble. 800 of 1,000 for the Dwarves. They've got 3k in the bank. 200 of 700 for Moria. They've got 600 in the bank. I think we're finally starting. Ooh, was that a teleport? One of the dwarves has a teleport. The Secret Ways from level 9. Teleport target units to target location. It was fancy. I don't know that it accomplished a ton. Ooh, the Eye of Sauron is out, and it is fixed upon the dwarves. Just cooking down. Anything under the Eye of Sauron takes devastating fire damage, and it is burning the dwarves off the field. It doesn't do a ton versus the heroes, so most of the dwarven heroes able to retreat, load back into the mines, but a lot of the dwarvish infantry gets cooked. Indeed, they drop all the way down to 200 command points. Still some veterans in the back. Looks like they cleaned up maybe 1 slave mill, and they're trying the Gorgoroth foundry, but it is level 3 and thus quite tanky, and the Easterlings will be able to come back here and clean them up with those devastating barbed shafts. Nazgul up to level 6, good for him. I love to see a surviving Nazgul. And still some good raiding on the backfield. Credit to Redwall, who's been on the back foot for most of this game, but has done everything he could to find opportunities to get some good trades. But I think the map control being in the favor of the dwarves pretty much the whole game has just been contributing to an economic advantage that is pretty difficult to overcome. 500 of 1,000, 550 of 1,000 for the dwarves, 500 of 600 for Moria. You know, if the dwarves just keep making men, they can make basically an entire army on top of what Moria is able to make right now. So he opted for the Moria Reclaimed on top of Vow of Vengeance and Send in the Goats. He's also picked up Dwarven Skill at some point here to repair stuff. So a lot of the lower tier abilities picked up. Tier sort of 1, 2, I think Moria Reclaimed might be a 3. Meanwhile, straight up into, you know, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 for Moria. Calm before the storm. Still a lot of raiding. The Cataphract raiding's been excellent. Dwarves pushing in up north, trying to make sure that Moria is as sort of penned in as possible. Tunnel collapse goes down. Out pops some spears, and we're seeing some casualties on the Cataphracts. They are not retreating. They're trying to get this kill, and it is a level 3 mine, so it's a good one to pull down for sure. But we took some losses there, and we've got general combat in the middle. Shelob comes out to fight. All right, Fell Stinger immediately popped. I love that. If you don't know what to do, just put it on cooldown and she'll find a hero to jab him. Hard to see here. Gloin doing well because he's level 10. Looks like a solid Moria victory here. Shelob was able to swing it. Gloin did a we got King Dane on the field as well. Very low. But Gimli up at 6. The Dwarvish Hero Squad's looking good. Are they going to be able to pull down Dane? He's getting a lot of focus fire from the archers. It would be a really nice win. You gotta kill Dane here. You've lost so much. Dane. Oh god, I think the last Easterling dies and King Dane on about 1 hit point. Oh no. Worker goes down. I think Moria's days are numbered. Indeed, they don't have much in the way of production left. So there it is. GG to Rude Devil on Erebor, another banger of a game. Those are fun ones. Hope you guys enjoyed those. Those were taken from, once again, Turin is a streamer, has been covering the Age of the Ring. He ran an open tournament the other day where we had a ton of good matches. We might not see a lot of replays from them because we just had a patch today, and new patches invalidate old replays. So I am working hard to cast this for you before I update my game. Hope you appreciate that. Thanks for watching, folks. Those were good ones, and there'll be plenty more Age of the Ring to come. The new league starts this month, so there should be a ton of Age of the Ring popping off. I'm looking forward to it. Hope you are too. Thanks for watching. See you next time.